Hello, today is the 28th of May 2025. So in this video I'm going to talk about some sort of emotional attack I had yesterday late in the evening. I don't think it was a panic attack because I did have panic attacks before in my life when I was like 14 years old or something. So I know what they feel like, and yesterday wasn't like super panicking and my body wasn't like shaking and stuff like that, but it was maybe this was a version of a panic attack. I don't know what it was exactly, but I can just try to explain it. I made a video yesterday which was technically just a private video for myself. Yeah, to kind of update myself on the way I've been talking to myself. I've been doing that for the past week, like making an update video every day for myself just to see how am I improving, like what has my language been like, how does that affect me and my day, my perception of the world. But I think I'm going to post that video from yesterday because it's going to make sense then with this video, like it's linked basically. But yeah, yesterday I had just many different like thoughts in my head in the evening. Like throughout the day I was dealing fine. There was already a few like small difficulties and I didn't feel very satisfied in myself, but I was dealing fine. And then the evening though, I kind of felt I guess more powerless, and I felt like there was just various things that I was like reaching out for to feel satisfied and to feel comforted and safe because I felt powerless kind of. The couple things that were in my mind were, for example, my older brother Carson. He lives in Benidorm and we were supposed to meet today. I don't think I'm gonna meet him today, but I might still go to the beach like we had planned. I might just go there by myself. But I basically had planned to meet him, and why it's not going to work out is because he has currently is very much struggling with drinking and alcohol and stuff like that. So I was texting with him over and back yesterday, and it just reminded me a lot of the time when I felt so powerless and I could really see in him how much he was like struggling. And I just didn't want him to feel that way. So I just, wished I could like remove that problem from his life. And I felt powerless because I was like, I can't remove that from his life. Like I can't take it away from him. And I know that it's his own, job to do that, and he will be the one to pull himself out of that hole that he's in currently. And I know that technically people fall into such holes because of their own decisions and because of their own beliefs. So it didn't just happen to him. It is in his control, but it feels like to him that it isn't. And I just know that feeling very well. And so that was one thing I felt powerless about. And then also like I was just kind of telling myself like there's nothing I can do, like there's nothing I can do to help him and stuff like that. And then when I was talking to Mom, I kind of realized, there is something I can do. I can just be there for him, be a support for him, and I am there for him. But then like throughout the day, I kept noticing more and more that I have this like belief that I can't do anything about it, or I can't do anything about something, or that I'm like powerless basically. Like that's a belief I have, because especially when it like comes to anxiety as well, or when I'm kind of nervous, like whatever sort of anxiety, anticipatory anxiety, social anxiety, in relation to that, I feel like I can't do anything about it. So yesterday I planned I had planned to meet someone as well, but she had to cancel because something was going on with her dog. So in the end, we also didn't meet. But basically, I kind of throughout the whole day was like focused on that. I was focused on that, that I was going to meet her, and I wasn't like super anxious, but like I said, my mind was focused on it the whole time. A part of my mind, I could focus on some other things as well, but I was like constantly focused on that. The fact that I'm meeting her and like, will we find something to talk about, especially, was like at the top of my mind. And yeah, like I kind of went through my day just with that feeling and with those thoughts in my head, and I just kind of believed like I can't get out of this, like I just need to live with it. Yeah, it felt like there's nothing I can do to really get rid of that, and that I have to like brood about it. Basically, I need to think about it in order to find a solution, so that I do know what to talk about, or that I'm protected from something bad happening. Like, I don't know, like I felt like I needed to brew to protect myself. So it was like my desire for control, or to figure out an answer to the supposed problem, like to the problem that like, will we find something to talk about? So I was like trying to find an answer to that, like what can I talk about with her and stuff like that. And I don't know, like I think like the anxiety wasn't even that bad, but the fact that I then got like so annoyed, and I believed like I can't stop it, and I believed like there's nothing I can do and I just need to live with it. That's what really bothered me, that kind of belief. And then later on in the day, like I went out of the house because she couldn't meet me, but I still wanted to do something. So I went out and walked through the village, and I sat down by the playground and just read for like, I don't know, I was there for like an hour or something. And there was no one else there at the playground, but some people were like passing, obviously. So yeah, so I don't know, I had some like socially anxious thoughts, like, kind of what are they thinking of me, or is anyone like watching me or seeing me? And like they were fine, they weren't making me feel nervous. I was still acting natural there, and I was still reading, and I was actually fine. But then again, the belief like I can't stop these socially anxious thoughts, like I'm not handling it very well, I'm not able, I'm not capable. Those thoughts are again what then very much annoyed me and made me feel stuck. And then later on in the day, again, I was texting with my brother, and again, I felt, just really low. And then I noticed how, like, I really wanted my friend Mario here with me to just give me a hug and just comfort me, because I just kind of felt quite powerless yesterday and just upset about various things and feeling like I'm just incapable. And I don't know, like, there was something that was really unhelpful in my mind, some sort of belief that I was believing. And then though, I told myself like, no, you shouldn't like want to reach out for Mario. Like, you shouldn't need him to feel comforted. You should feel comforted in yourself. And then again, I felt like I was incapable because I was like reaching out for someone to comfort me. And I was like, no, I'm relying too much on other people to comfort me, and I'm not able to comfort myself. So again, I was telling myself I was incapable. And I was telling myself, you're feeling like you need someone else to be happy. Like it shouldn't be like that. Like, that's not good. Like, because then you'll never be able to comfort yourself. You're never going to be able to just be there for yourself. So obviously my language was really bad, and I was like not kind to myself at all. And then, I went for a shower and stuff. And afterwards I was just crying. Like, I was just crying, and like my head was leaned against the wall, and like, I don't know, like it was a moment of like a bit of despair, honestly. Like, and then there was some like very catastrophic thoughts that I was like thinking about, like, my life is so unfulfilled, or I'm not doing much with my life, or like I don't like being here alone, like I feel like I need my family, or like I want my family and stuff like that. And then like, if this continues like this, maybe I really will fall depressed and commit suicide. Like, I don't know, like really dramatic thoughts that like usually I wouldn't believe. And obviously I was just in a moment that felt very catastrophic, and that's why I was creating catastrophic thoughts and like worrying about it. After that, like my dad asked me to call, and I was talking a bit to him, and like that was kind of nice. And I then, like, after I cried as well, I felt better. Like I was then fine. And that, like, the evening I just watched The Notebook. I was on my phone for a bit as well, just watching a bit of YouTube or stuff like that. So I didn't feel really bad. I didn't feel really good. But if you would have asked me in that moment, how are you doing? I would have been like, yeah, I'm doing it. Like, I'm just, getting through. I wouldn't have said, oh, it's so bad. Like, oh my God, what's happening? I wouldn't have said that. Yeah, so then I basically got ready for bed. It was like, I think 11 already or something. And I was, then getting ready for bed. And in that moment, something like hit me very strongly. And it's not really that anything hit me. It's that then I started really believing some sort of thoughts that I had created due to some beliefs that I have. The thoughts that came up were basically all of these, like showing myself how incapable I am and how I'm trying to reach out for something else to feel satisfied and to feel comforted, basically. And then another thought that was added to it was basically like masturbation. And that's something like for many years that is just a difficult topic for me, and something that when I was depressed I brooded about so much, like sex anyway, like if you've known me for a while, and the uncomfortable feeling and everything, like that all has to do with sexuality and sex and masturbation, all of that. And I always just felt like it was such a difficult topic for me to deal with, and I always like never allowed myself to do anything, basically, and always beat myself up for any sort of interests or desires I had. And obviously when you're a teenager you have hormones and you have interests and desires, but I always was like beating myself up for that and telling myself, no, like that's not you shouldn't be like that, no, like you're not going to be able to recognize yourself if you were to, for example, masturbate or something like that. So like it's been a topic that's has been very difficult for me. And I'd say, I don't know, the last like maybe 2-3 weeks, that topic has been in my mind again, and I've been like thinking about it, on and off more than, usual. I don't usually think about it at all, or don't feel like I want it or need it. But then in the past 2-3 weeks, I've been like more interested in that topic, and I've been thinking about it more. And obviously, I still have some beliefs that are like, you definitely shouldn't do that, you shouldn't want that, and no, like you're not going to be able to recognize yourself, and you should be ashamed of that, and what's your family going to think if they ever find out, and like like that would be so weird if you were to ever do that, and you like stop, like you shouldn't crave that, you should stop it, just stop it. And then basically when I noticed those thoughts, that like first of all I was interested in it, and I was kind of thinking, is it really that bad, or like would I really be so ashamed of myself, or would my family really think in a horrible way of me if they ever were to find out? First of all, they don't need to find out, I don't need to tell anyone if I were to ever do that, like it's a private thing, like. But still I was like, no, like I shouldn't want that. And then though, because I noticed I was obviously interested in it, and I was more like open to it now than I ever was before, then I was like, look, you're not able to stop the craving. What if you just, go and do it, and then like be so ashamed of yourself and feel like it wasn't actually in your control. It's just like the cravings made you do it or what. So I was then in that moment when I noticed I was interested in it, but then telling myself like I should stop thinking about it, I should not want it. I then told myself like I'm not able to stop the cravings. I'm not able to stop thinking about it. So then that belief was there. And I've always had that belief like since my depression, because I was depressed because I brooded so much about things and I felt like I couldn't stop. I just felt like I couldn't stop. And so the thing that I experienced yesterday evening, which I'm going to explain, like that sort of, I don't know, panic attack, or like I'm going to call it a brooding attack. Like I think that's the best way to say it, because it really felt like a brooding attack. Like I couldn't stop thinking about something and I couldn't get out of my mind. I felt like I was stuck in my mind. Anyways, that's when, like while I was getting ready for bed and I had these thoughts about masturbation again and stuff like that, that's when I really started to feel stuck in my mind. And that's when I really started to believe that I can't stop thinking about it. So I was then like tearing up and feeling weak and powerless about, everything right now, like everything that's kind of going on. And then I was really like feeling already quite depressed. Yeah, and I already had then like very catastrophic thoughts like, I might not want to live for much longer, or like, is anything really helping me? Like, are any of the moments, am I actually doing good, or am I just lying to myself the whole time and I'm actually not doing good, and I'm actually just hiding the fact that I'm actually not doing good? And now I can see obviously that's not true, like, but in that moment I had such catastrophic thoughts and they scared me. I really had thoughts like, yeah, maybe it's easier to just end it and just commit suicide. And I was like, girl, are you for real? Like, this is not the way I would usually think. Like, this is not me. This is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to be. So I need to remember as well now, right now in this moment, feelings and thoughts aren't facts. So the fact that I thought those things, that does not mean I actually want it, or it's actually part of me or defines me. It came from some sort of belief, basically the belief that I was powerless and I couldn't do anything about it. And basically that I was just gonna commit suicide because my thoughts are gonna control me. That was my belief, that my thoughts are controlling me, that I can't stop brooding, that I need to think about something, that I can't get out of my mind. That's the belief that was playing like in me. And that's what then created all these very catastrophic thoughts, like thoughts about things that I feel out of control about, like suicide or, becoming depressed and stuff like that. Like, because that's things that are in your mind and I believe I'm not able to get out of my mind once I'm like stuck in it or whatever. Yeah, that's why those thoughts were created and those thoughts came up. And like I obviously wanted to go to bed, but I then was like, no, like I can't go to bed right now. Like something is going on and I don't want this to like, ruin my life, and I want to figure it out. So I then sat down in front of our little like meditation sort of spot in the house. There's just like a picture of Jesus and a very nice like story written beside it and stuff, and just kind of like a very just peaceful spot. And I just sat down in front of it, and which I usually obviously never do unless I feel very weak, unless I feel like there's no other option except for like hope, basically, or something like that. So I sat down there because I wanted to find answers and I didn't want to feel so out of control, I don't know, at first it made things worse, then it kind of made things a bit better, and then it made it a lot worse, I think. So first it made it worse because I was then more concentrated on my problem. I was then more thinking about, everything, and especially like masturbation. Like that was something that was then very strongly in my mind. And I was like, okay, how can I stop thinking about it? How can I just leave it and just not crave it or not do it? Like I kind of was scared that I was just gonna do it, that my cravings were gonna get the best of me and I'm gonna just do it, and then the next day completely regret it and be ashamed of myself and not be able to look at my family anymore. That's what I imagined. And I really, really felt like at any point right now, I could just, do it because my feelings are controlling me. Like I really felt very much out of control in that situation. And I then told myself, like, it's completely in my control and I can decide to do it or not. Like no one does anything just like that without having made a decision. But I felt like, yeah, but maybe I'm gonna make that decision because of my strong feelings or something. So like, yeah, and then I was like, no, like I really want to stop this, but at the same time I didn't want to stop it because I am interested in it and I don't want to feel ashamed of it. But then I obviously believed I should be ashamed of it and it's not me and I shouldn't do that. And if it's me, then, and if I do that, then I'm not going to be able to recognize myself anymore or something. Like, so a part of me didn't like want to force myself to stop because it's just like I'm interested in it and it's a humanly thing, and it's, it doesn't need to be such a big deal. But the other part of me felt like, no, the feelings are going to control me and make me do it. And, I should stop it. I should be able to get out of my mind right now. I shouldn't feel like I need it or I need to satisfy myself. Like that's what was very strong in my mind, that thought, like that I needed to feel satisfied. I need to do it right now. Like, oh my God. Yeah, but then I was like crying and very much feeling like kind of in despair and like I couldn't do anything about it and like powerless. And I don't know, it was such a weird moment that I haven't experienced in so long. And that's why, again, then I was obviously catastrophizing that as well, being like, you are really getting worse and you are becoming depressed and stuff like that. Obviously, the catastrophic thoughts made it a lot worse as well, and they are not facts. But yeah, I don't know, I felt like I was in a very scary place in that moment. And yeah, then at some point, like, I calmed down a bit more because I was looking at Jesus basically, and I imagined like, what would he say to me? How would he comfort me? How would he deal with things like this? Would he tell me I should be ashamed of myself? Like, no. Like, so I kind of like, used Jesus's voice to calm myself down. And then I asked myself these questions. And when I asked myself these questions, I like much more like calmed down for a while anyways. So I think these questions are what I can use for the next time I'm gonna brood, and this will hopefully help me to regain some perspective and see that it is in my control and I can do something about it. Like, the only reason I couldn't do anything about it is because I believed I couldn't. If I had the belief I can stop brooding, I'm able to do it, I would immediately stop because I would believe I'm able to. So I would know and find the right skills and the right tactics to stop it. Like, anyway, yeah, when I asked myself these questions and then felt a bit better, I kind of got up, I think, but I still was like, no, like I might, what if I just find myself masturbating in the next while and I can't and I'm not the one who's in control, but my feelings are so strong that they're like making me do it. And like I even like told myself in between as well, like I can't mention that in videos. Like if I ever were to do that, like I can't make videos about that. I can't ever mention it because it's something like I should be ashamed of, and what are other people gonna think of me? And that's like so weird. Like, you know, what if my parents see that video ever? Or like, you know, that's something like you should never tell anyone. Anyway, like, yeah. But so basically, when I felt a bit better, I got up, but then I returned very quickly to very powerless thoughts. And like I said, the feeling of like my feelings are gonna like control me and I need to like masturbate or something. Yeah, that's when I like began to actually be stuck in my head, because I believed that my thoughts were controlling me. And because I was brooding, I was like focusing on the thoughts. I was trying to find an answer for them. I was trying to stop them and stuff like that. But that is what held me in my mind. So that's how unhelpful brooding is, because technically you want to gain control by trying to find an answer to something you're worried about, but all that you actually do is focus more on the thing you're worried about, and then, you know, that grows bigger because you don't know an answer to it right now in that moment, and you feel powerless already. That's why you're brooding. And so when you're focusing more on the problem, you feel more powerless, and then feel more stuck in your mind, and then obviously want to brood even more so that you definitely find an answer, so that you definitely don't stay stuck in your mind. But then you absolutely make yourself stuck in your mind because you are even more brooding about it, and brooding happens in your mind. So basically, when I was in my room and then sat on my bed and was about to like fill out the journal for the Thrive program, I wrote down some like positives of the day, because that's part of what you have to fill out in that journal. So writing down the positives of the day, and I wrote down like 2 or 3, but then I was like, there are no positives. Like this is just, you know, bad, and you know, what's happening to me? Like that's the question I asked myself, and that's a super powerless question, but it just shows what I believed in that moment, that I was powerless. So I was like asking myself, what's happening to me? Like what's going on? I'm really scared. Like I feel like I can't stop thinking in a really negative way, in a really catastrophic way. I'm like constantly brooding about things. I feel like I can't get out of my mind. I feel like I can't stop thinking about it. I feel like I'm not in control. Like I really, like my mind was focusing on like, you know, masturbation and wanting that, and then telling myself like it might just happen. Maybe you're just gonna do it because you want it, and like your feelings are gonna be too strong. So I was like really then focused on that, and I was really feeling like, oh, any second it could just happen. And this is like so intimate, and I'm like so sorry, but I need to learn as well, like it's nothing I need to feel ashamed of. And obviously like this wasn't actually the normal type of craving and or wanting that. It was like, it was the brooding, like that was the problem basically. But I really felt stuck in my mind. I really was in my mind, and like nothing else really was there in that moment to comfort me or to help me. Like it really felt like nothing else could comfort me or help me in that moment. And then I put down like the journal, and I like leaned back against the wall, and I just, you know, I was then starting to get quite afraid, and I was then like noticing, oh my God, I'm like so stuck in my mind. Like, what is happening to me? What is going on? Like, this is so bad. I can't stop it. Like, and then I was constantly like, what if I'm just gonna like masturbate now? What if that, like, I'm just gonna do it? Like, it's just gonna happen, and I'm like just gonna decide to do it. And like, it really felt like I could any moment just decide to do it and then go and do it, even though I didn't like want to in that moment, or I was telling myself I shouldn't want to. And like, oh my God, I don't know, like, I'm trying to describe it the best that I can, but I don't think anyone can really relate to this unless they experienced a moment like that themselves before, because it's just, you're in such a different reality, like you're in such a different world, like just the world of your beliefs and your thoughts that you have in that moment, because you're really, when you're brooding so much, as that amount that I did in that moment, you're really living in your mind. So yeah, and I was obviously then quite scared, like quite scared in that moment, like very much feeling like things are happening to me and it's out of my control, and I'm just gonna decide to do things that I'm not able to like hold myself back from, or that I can't control myself anymore. And then at some point I just started like crying, and I was trying to see like, I'm here, it's okay, like I'm in my room, I'm safe, like looking at my curtain and looking at the pictures of Akela in my room and looking around at like my furniture and stuff, and just being like, look, I'm safe, it's okay, like nothing's happening to me, I'm gonna get out of this. I was in moments like these before and I always made it out. And this is all happening because of my own beliefs, and it's not my fault that this is happening. It's just I had learned, this is just something I learned through, my depression. I just believed that I needed to brood and stuff like that. Like, it's not my fault, it's just something I had learned and I'm believing, but I can change all of that and stuff. But obviously in that moment, none of this really seemed true. Like my mind and brooding and stuff seemed much more real and true than anything else around me or anything else I was telling myself. But those thoughts, like the good ones, the ones where I was trying to calm myself down, they definitely put some light into it, even though it absolutely did not feel in that moment like they were making any difference whatsoever. Like, it really felt like there's no need for me to say that to myself. Like, they don't help, like it's not making anything better. But now that I'm like basically out of that moment, I'm still kind of like recovering from it, basically, like I think you can see. Yeah, like now that I'm out of it, basically, I know that those sort of thoughts are so important. Imagine you didn't like create those thoughts at all, those good ones. Imagine you didn't try to calm yourself down at all whatsoever. Then you would really completely believe your mind. So it's so important to tell yourself these good things, even if you can't believe them in that moment and really don't at all feel like they're making a difference. But still tell yourself that, even if it feels like it's making 0% difference. Keep telling yourself things like that. And keep trying to make it out. Like, just keep going. Like, don't give up. Don't give up. So while I was experiencing that moment, I was like, this, is so bad. Like, and that's like, it felt like that's as bad as the mind can like get to a certain extent. Like, I don't want anyone to understand this wrong, but in that moment it was like, that is the worst thing your mind can create, or you can create. Because like, if for example, even like if you were in war and you wouldn't feel stuck in your mind, so you wouldn't like believe, you know, the thoughts like, this is the worst thing ever, I can't do anything about it, I'm not going to survive, like what's happening to me, all those sort of thoughts, if you wouldn't feel like stuck in your mind about them and you wouldn't feel out of control about those sort of thoughts and questions, then you would much more feel like you're capable of handling war and you're capable of getting through it and stuff like that. So I think feeling out of control of your mind is like the worst, because that's why people commit suicide as well. They think something else is controlling them. They're not in control and they're completely believing their thoughts that are saying, you know, there's nothing worth living for anymore. Your life is so horrible. Like, you should kill yourself. There's no other way. So I think like that's as low as a human can actually get. Because you don't feel incapable if you don't believe your mind. If you don't feel at the mercy of these thoughts, you know? Like, I could be wrong, but I think, yeah, if you would feel in control of your mind and feel like, I can handle this no matter how bad it gets, then you would be able to handle it no matter how bad it gets. Like, you know, so yeah. But in that moment, like yesterday, obviously, when I was experiencing it, I wasn't like ashamed or afraid to say like, yeah, this is imprisonment of the mind and this is as bad as your mind can get, basically, when you feel so stuck in it and like it's controlling you and stuff. I don't know, like obviously I wasn't experiencing the worst moment that there ever is to experience. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. Like, I know there's so many people going through so much worse. I'm absolutely not saying I went through the worst you could go through. Absolutely not. But I'm just saying what I learned or realized there is when you're at the mercy of your mind, you feel like your mind is controlling you. And you know, there's nothing you can do to help yourself. I think that's the lowest you can get. Anyway, yeah, then at some point, like when I told myself these more like good things, being like, you're safe, just calm down, it's all gonna be fine, like that honestly, yeah, did help me, because I did calm down a bit more then, and I was kind of like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? Like, am I really just gonna simply like masturbate now? Just gonna like, is it just gonna happen, basically? Do I really like want that right now? Like, right now, no, I didn't actually want it. It was because I was brooding about it, and that's what made me feel like, oh, I want this, I need this, I'm craving it, and like really like catastrophic and stuff. So yeah, I don't know, like there was a short moment of like pause, but then I again returned to those thoughts like, what if it just happens and is out of my control, and what is going on here? Like, what is happening to me? Like, this is so scary. Like, you know, yeah, so many of those thoughts again then. And then again, I like fell back into like crying and really like believing this is like almost final, or like this is just, yeah, so bad. And then at some point I stopped leaning against the wall and I kind of like sat up properly again, and I kind of, yeah, just sat in a different way and at a different side of my bed. And then I kind of just looked at my phone for a second, like really just for a second. I just looked at the time and then was like still crying and still kind of in that situation. I was really like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is going on? I can't believe this is real right now. Like, I can't believe this is happening. Like, what does this mean? What is happening to me? But I think that was honestly a good moment as well. A good thing to do is to change your situation in some sort of way. Like, go sit somewhere else. Like, go distract yourself for a second. Like, you know, do something so you're not like sitting in that brooding state. Even though like in that moment it felt like I just had to brood. Like it felt like, no, I just have to sit here and think about it. And then it felt like I couldn't actually move. I don't know, like anyway, I did end up moving somehow, because I was just like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? And I was obviously the whole time also trying to reach out for like some sort of safety or some sort of like help. And even though I didn't like actually text anyone, I didn't actually reach out for anyone, because again, I thought that's not going to help. But I was in my mind constantly searching for like some sort of safety, some sort of answer, you know? So anyway, when that moment happened, I then like thought about my mom, and I thought about, okay, what do I need right now? What do I want right now that could help me feel like I'm okay? And I don't know, like, what do I want right now or need right now that could in some way help me? And I was just like, I just want to feel like I'm okay and things aren't happening to me and it's going to be fine. Like, I just wanted to feel safe and comforted. And then I immediately imagined myself as a baby. And you know that, I don't know if maybe some of you remember that feeling of your mom like holding you and carrying you, and it's like you're just in this nest of like love and purity and safety, and like nothing can attack you, nothing can happen to you. Like, you're just in your mother's arms, and it's like the safest place you could ever be at, and it feels like nothing whatsoever can happen to you. And in other words, for me, it felt like I was in like lying in the wing of like an angel, and like just nothing was happening to me and nothing could happen to me. And I really saw myself as a baby. I didn't see myself in the age that I'm at now. I really saw myself as a baby lying in my mother's arms and just being comforted, and that's the biggest like safety. Or I saw myself lying in the wings of an angel. And in that moment, so much fell off of me. Like, so many fears, so many thoughts, so many, just whatever the hell was going on there, so much of it just fell away. And I could feel that comfort and that safety. And I really, you know, that is what I was reaching out for the whole time. Comfort, being satisfied with myself, being comforted in myself. Like, you know, like that's what I am reaching out for all the time when I'm like anxious. Or with my brother Carson, I was reaching out for like comfort, like knowing I'm okay and being satisfied in myself, knowing that I have the strength and I'm doing okay and I don't need anything to feel okay. So like, I don't know, I just saw like, yeah, I was really reaching out for like comfort and feeling satisfied. So in that moment when I gave myself that by imagining myself in the wings of an angel or in my mother's arms as a baby, I just noticed how real that was, and how obviously I used to feel that way when I was a baby, I guess, or a child in my mother's arms. And I just, yeah, or even if you don't remember ever feeling comforted by your parents or anyone, you can still imagine that, like, or whatever else comforts you, whatever else satisfies you and your needs. And like, imagine that, like, imagine, I don't know, like, floating maybe in water. Imagine like lying on top of a cloud. Whatever it is that you feel where you feel comforted and you feel safe, and you see that that feeling actually exists. A place exists where you can feel safety, comfort, satisfaction, like it exists. And for me in that moment, it was just me as a baby in my mother's arms. And really then I obviously had regained a lot of perspective. I was still obviously not fully out of it, and I was still recovering, and I was still asking myself, like, what the actual hell was that? So I was still like a bit obviously frightened, but I felt much more like I was gonna be okay, and I am okay, and I can go to sleep, basically. So then what I just wanted for myself was to continue feeling this comfort, to be completely there for myself and completely like kind to myself and just comfort myself. And so I laid down in bed and I put on a meditation, and I cuddled with my like scarf that's always lying in my bed since I'm like 8 years old or something. It used to be my mother's scarf that she gave me when I felt so unsafe and so, not comfortable and very scared going to school in Australia, for example. Like, was going through a very hard time, and she gave me that scarf because it was hers and it smelled like her. And so I always took that, like, wherever I went. I always, like, I had it with me in school very often. I always slept with it at night. And I still have that scarf, the same scarf in my bed up to today. So, I just gave myself that comfort, and I was like, okay, it's okay. You just need to like recover from this, and you're going to be okay. And tomorrow's a new day, and it does not need to be like this anymore. And it doesn't it definitely doesn't mean you're going to wake up in any panic or you're going to be okay. And I totally understood why that moment happened. It happened because of my own beliefs and my own thoughts. So once I change the belief that I'm powerless or I can't stop brooding, these things are not going to happen anymore. But yeah, for that moment, that I was in, and it went on for I'd say an hour in total, all of this happened. It was very, very scary, and it felt very, very real. And it was real in that moment, and really felt very catastrophic. And for a while I just didn't fully know if I was okay. I didn't know if I was gonna be okay. I didn't know if I was gonna commit suicide. Obviously, not in that moment, but I thought about in the future, will I? In that moment I didn't want to, and I wouldn't have decided to, but that's, something I also remember from my past. I experienced one of these moments before, and in that moment that I experienced before, suicide was very strong in my mind, and I was like, am I going to do it? Do I want to do it? I don't know if I ever really had such a moment that was only focused on suicide, the way yesterday was mainly focused on masturbation, feeling like I'm just gonna do it, it's just gonna happen. And I obviously admitted to myself as well, I'm interested in that, and maybe I do want to do it, maybe I do want to experience it, and if doing so would get me out of a moment like that, or would stop me from brooding, then obviously I would do it. If I'm in danger and need to masturbate to basically save myself, then obviously I'm not going to tell myself, no, you're not allowed to. Obviously I would do that if that would save me. Obviously that this is not the relationship I want to have with masturbation. If I ever did it, I don't want to do it out of fear, or because I feel like I have to, or feel like I'm out of control in relation to it. I don't know, but it was new for me to also admit to myself, like obviously I am interested in it and I, maybe want to do it as well, but I'm not going to do it until I feel like I'm safe and it's okay and like it's in my control, because right now I'm still thinking that it's not fully okay or I should be ashamed of it, and it's weird. It's going to make me a weird person. It's going to define me as weird, basically, and that like I'm not going to be able to recognize myself, stuff like that. Like those things are still in my mind. So I don't know, it's a difficult situation because I kind of want to experience it. I'm interested in it, but at the same time I'm telling myself no, like it's going to be bad, basically. And then it's like this over and back and I feel kind of stuck because I don't know, but it's okay. I don't need it, obviously. And it's my choice, like if I do it or don't. And right now I'm just not gonna do it until I know like it's okay to do it and it's safe. But that's something, obviously I was scared as well yesterday, that I was just gonna do it because I want to, even when I'm not like fully sure yet. And I was scared that I was just gonna simply do it at some point because I want to, even though I'm not fully sure if it's okay yet for me to do it, and that then like I would feel so ashamed. And I think I was trying to avoid that feeling of like shame as well. And then I was trying to brood about it because I was trying to find an answer. Is it right or wrong? What's going on? I wanted to solve this, but then a part of me didn't allow myself to solve it because I was like, no, it's going to make you a weird person. Don't solve this problem, because if you solve it, then you're probably going to masturbate, like, and you shouldn't. But like, oh my God, it's not that big of a deal. Oh my God. So I obviously felt so bad because I was telling myself I shouldn't do something. I was trying to control myself to not do something. I don't know what the answer is right now, and I just think I need to just relax and recover from this. Like it was a big moment, and I was like fine this morning. Like I said, I'm just kind of recovering, trying to slowly get out of it more. And I still feel kind of weird, and I'm still like, wait, like, am I capable of doing things? Like, would I be capable today of like going to the beach and enjoying it? Or would I go there and be completely panicked the whole time, or like anxious? Like, am I like capable? But I'm not like feeling really bad this morning. And I don't know, I kind of feel like now a small bit that like I'm kind of stuck again a small bit. Like I'm not stuck, I know I'm not, but right now I am thinking again about like what's the right answer, like, and am I just gonna masturbate at some point but then really like regret it? Like, are my feelings gonna get the best of me? Do I really want to do that? But then would it make me a weird person? I don't know, but like that obviously doesn't help me. So I don't know. There is an answer to everything, and I will find it. Just need to keep being kind to myself and just recovering from this and being gentle and seeing that this isn't a big problem. Like the masturbation isn't even the problem. Like that's also what I noticed yesterday. Like it actually, whatever happened yesterday actually had nothing to do with masturbation. Like I could have experienced the same moment when thinking about anxiety and not being able to stop anxiety. Could have experienced the same moment thinking about suicide. Could have experienced the same moment thinking about having sex with someone else. Like had nothing to do with masturbation itself, really. It was just, my thoughts about it, how I was thinking about it, very catastrophic, very like brooding about it, and then believing I can't stop it. Those are the things that made this moment happen. Masturbation itself, no, it's just masturbation. But it's my beliefs and the way I was thinking about it. That's what caused that moment of a brooding attack. I don't know, like it's so weird, and I'm interested to know if anyone else ever experienced this before. Like, I'm really wondering, like, can some people relate to this? How did they get out of it, and what do they think of those moments? And yeah, I'm sure there's people out there who have the brooding thinking style that I guess went through situations like that before, or similar ones. Yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. Take care. I will keep taking care of myself. Yeah, I just keep remembering these catastrophic thoughts I had yesterday, like, oh, I'm here alone in Spain, and but I want my family to be here, and I just can't, I'm just not going to be able to live longer without my family, and I just need to go back to Ireland, and I just need someone to come here and stay with me. And I don't. I've been here so many times before alone as well, and I loved it and I enjoyed it. And yeah, since I'm now in Spain again, like, I'm not fully enjoying like being alone that much. I'm more like wanting someone else to be there as well. But I know that it's also fine. Like, I'm not, it's not that bad. But, yesterday then, I was thinking very catastrophic. So I made that also seem bad, made it feel like I need my family. I just need to go back to Ireland, or it's really horrible that I'm here alone. But it actually has nothing to do with that again. It's about the way I was thinking about things. So yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. Let's keep going, keep learning. Take care, and until the next time.